Welcome to It's All About Relationship and Pesach. This podcast is based on the writings of one of my teachers, Sarah Yehudit Schneider. So Pesach not only celebrates the birth of the Jewish nation from a family humbled by slavery to a treasured, beloved, exalted people, but it also celebrates our own personal growth process as we develop from slaves to our instincts and physical desires into exalted human beings who radiate light and choose good and holiness and a loving relationship with our source and creator. We experience both journeys as we move through the words of the Haggadah on Seder night. The Seder is constructed in a way to enable us to rise to this higher consciousness, and the Haggadah is designed to tell our story in a specific way so that we can get there. The night of Pesach itself is a night of tremendous light and blessing, and every Pesach night, part of our soul that usually hovers around us enters our physical body. You see, our soul has 5 levels, but according to the Kabbalistic masters, only the 2 lower levels, nefesh and ruach, are integrated into our body during the 9 months we spend in the womb. And the 2 highest levels, chaya and yechida, usually never enter the body at all, but only surround us, like spiritual energy fields. The 3rd level of the soul, however, this is the one sandwiched between the lower 2 and the upper 2, is called the neshama, and it first connects with our body at birth, and each year it enters us a little more. This aspect of the soul allows us to experience expanded spiritual consciousness and to live expanded spiritual lives in tune with Hashem and His will for us. And when does this happen? The night of Pesach, Seder night. So we have an incredible opportunity to bring down light and consciousness. But we have to ask ourselves, what do we really want? What do we truly want here and now? Do we want expanded consciousness? Our choices help to determine what we bring down on this night, what we integrate into ourselves, and what we make our own. Now, not only is the Seder about our redemption as a nation, but it's also about the story of our own personal redemption, growing from a state of immature consciousness into expanded awareness. The Haggadah is written to help us make the most of this amazing night, and every part of the Seder is replete with symbols constructed to bring us into this state of expanded awareness. Now, as a side note, make sure that your Haggadah speaks to you personally. There are many, many wonderful Haggadahs out there, and each one has its own commentaries and its own voice, focusing on specific themes. So please make sure that the one you use at the Seder will be one that really speaks to you. So here I just want to touch briefly on a couple of ideas specifically about eating matzah. We trace our journey of growing from immature, childish, narrow-minded consciousness into mature, wise, broad-minded consciousness through the way matzah is referenced throughout the Seder. When we first meet the matzah, there it is on the Seder plate, it's just known to us as simple flatbread, just flour and water. And this is also how we start out as children. Simple, uncomplicated, eating and sleeping. Life is simple. But then in the Seder, we name the matzah lechem oni, the bread of affliction. Now the matzah represents the problems we encounter in life, the challenges, the difficulties we face and confront. And in the process of overcoming these challenges, we may break. That's yachatz, breaking the matzah. Disillusionment or failure can break us, yet that can become the catalyst for our growth. Growth is usually preceded by something that we stumble over. The rest of the Seder traces the path that we, with our broken parts, take to become whole again. And we see that throughout the Seder, the matzah is called in turn a ritual, ceremonial offering. Matzah is recognized as a symbol of humility, deflation of the ego, which is the first step in a spiritual path. After the breaking comes the humility, and the humility lets us know that yes, we can be redeemed. Hashem will redeem us. Through this matzah, we see that Hashem sets us free. And it's at this point that we eat the matzah. When it becomes the object of a mitzvah, the matzah becomes soul food, food that feeds the soul. We see the matzah also as the bread of faith, lechem emunah. We went into the desert with only our matzahs to sustain us, knowing that Hashem was the one who freed us and who continues to bring us to freedom, not only on a national level, but personally, our own personal freedom. And last but not least, we eat another matzah called the afikoman, the dessert. This matzah represents the pleasure we will experience in our newly expanding consciousness. Sarah Yehudit writes, "The joy of growth and expanding awareness is the sweetest pleasure of all, and this is what we taste in the afikoman, the aliyah, the growth that emerges from the yerida, the descent or the fall." Our descent into Egypt was for the purpose of rising as a nation, and whenever we fall or fail, we always have the opportunity to rise and expand. So I'd like to talk now a little bit about what we can actually think about as we're eating matzah. What's on our mind as we're all crunching away at the table? So consider this. Seder night is the only time during the year when we are commanded by God to eat a particular food. Eating matzah and moror on Seder night is a mitzvah. We're commanded to eat matzah and moror and the afikoman, which takes the place of the Korban Pesach, and we say the blessings, Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav vitzivanu, and commanded us to eat the matzah. God sanctifies us, makes us holy through this eating of the matzah, through this mitzvah. It's the only time during the year that we become holy through eating. God makes us holy. He sanctifies us as we are following His command and eating the matzah and the moror. At this time, as you're fulfilling this mitzvah and this command of the king, and you're eating your matzah and your moror, you are connected with God in the highest way. Imagine yourself in a laser beam of holy light emanating from Hashem Himself. His holy light is pouring down, a pillar of light, connecting you with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with the Holy One. You are carrying out His will, and you have a direct line of connection to Hashem Himself. What do you say? What will you say to Him? This is your chance. What will you ask for, pray for? What vision will you focus on? Healing for a loved one? Healing for yourself? Healing for the world? Maybe you want to pray for the actualizing of a vision of oneness and redemption. Maybe you want to focus on a verse from the Torah that you really connect with and want to make your own. Maybe something like, God is one, or something that reflects your spiritual yearnings, like, please God, create in me a pure heart. Or even a simple prayer, God, help me believe in you more and more. Help me trust you. Prepare for your Seder spiritually as well as physically. Plan what you want to focus on while you're eating. Write it down before the holiday. You can even print off a copy of the transcript of this podcast and have it with you at your Seder. When you eat mindfully, even with closed eyes, and concentrate on what you have chosen as your focus. As Sarah Yehudit writes, whatever you choose, its seeds will be planted in your deepest depths, where the soil is always rich, the fruit always sweet, and the harvest always bountiful. Have a wonderful Pesach.